Good afternoon, students. This is Mrs. Fry, and today's math video is still talking about functions. We're just going to start out with evaluating some functions, and then we'll kind of turn those into evaluating a composite function, okay, which is what we have been working on. And a lot of you guys have been struggling with that, so maybe this type will seem a little bit easier. So let's take a look at this. I've got three functions for today: f of x, g of x, and h of x. Kept it pretty simple, just three functions. So number one just says f of -3. So we're going to evaluate this. I'm going to take the -3 and I'm going to put that in for f of x. You know, f of x is 2x minus 1. I'm going to write that down. F of x is 2x minus 1. So that means f of -3 would be 2 times -3 minus 1. We just take out the x. Even highlight that for you. Take out this x, and you're going to replace it with the -3. And then we just work that out. So that's -6 minus 7. I'm sorry, -6 minus 1. I was thinking of the answer already. -6 minus 1 is -7. So put a box around it. That's the answer. So that's how you would evaluate the function f of x for -3. Let's do the same thing for g of 7. So this one actually might be a little bit easier because g of x is just 3x. So g of 7 would be 3 times 7. So that's 21. That's it. Okay, let's take a look at if it was like a composite function. You would work from the inside out. So it says f of g of 2. So we're going to start on the inside and just figure out what is g of 2. Let's do that first. Okay, g of 2 would just be 3 times 2, which is 6. Then we're going to take that 6 and we're going to put that in for f. So f of 6 would be 2 times 6. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. 2 times 6 minus 1. So I just took out the x from the f of x and put in the 6. So that's 12 minus 1, which is 11. Okay, so that's all you have to do for that one. Number 4, g of f of -5. Remember, we want to work from the inside out. So I'll just start by doing f of -5. We haven't even used h of x yet, I just realized. So f of -5 would be 2 times -5 minus 1. So that's -10 minus 1, which is -11. So then I'll take that -11 and put that in for g. g of -11 would be 3 times -11, which is -33. So the answer for number 4 is -33. Okay, so I've got a couple more examples with the same three functions. And now we're finally going to be using that h of x. And as you can see, the next two, number 5 and number 6, those are using all three functions. Remember, we work from the inside out, so these ones could get a little complicated. I'll try to slow it down a little bit. So we're just going to start with the h of 2. Start on the inside. H of 2. We go up to the top in the box of functions, and we see that h of x is x squared plus 1. So that means I would just do 2 squared plus 1. So that's 4 plus 1, which is 5. Now I'm going to take that 5 and I'll put it into the next one, which is g. So you just work on your on the inside out. So this is 5. So then I'll do g of 5. And because g of x is 3x, that's 3 times 5, which is 15. And then finally we would do f of 15. And f of x is 2x minus 1, so that's 2 times 15 minus 1, which is 30 minus 1. So that means your final answer is 29. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Just remember, you start on the inside and you just work your way out. Number 6, I have g of f of h of -6. So just start on the inside. H of -6 would be like this, -6 squared plus 1. Now, if you're using a calculator, make sure you put that -6 in parentheses. Make sure that it squares it right. Sometimes the calculators won't do that the correct way. So -6 squared is positive 36 plus 1, which is 37. Okay, so it's 37. So the next thing we do is f of 37. These numbers are getting kind of big here, but that's okay. We still know what to do. Just follow what it says to do. F of x is 2x minus 1, so that's 2 times 37 minus 1. 2 times 37 is 74 minus 1, which is 73. And then finally, I would just have to do g of 73. G of 73 would be 3 times 73. And I typed that into a calculator. That was 219. Okay, so sometimes these answers can get kind of large, but no big deal. That would be the answer, 219. And then finally, for the last two, just evaluate f of x plus 1. And then g of 3a, just a little bit different type of problem, just to kind of review those skills that we've been learning for the past couple days. So f of x plus 1 would be 2, and then in place of the x, we'll put that x plus 1. Now I want to distribute the 2 to simplify this, so that would be 2x plus 2 minus 1, and then we can combine these like terms. The 2 minus 1 combines, so that's 2x plus 1, and that's it. That's your final answer. And finally, g of 3a, remember g of x is just 3x, right? So this would be 3 times 3a, which is 9a. That's it. Okay, so hopefully evaluating these functions seemed a little bit simpler than, simplifying composite functions. Here's your homework for today. Same exact 3 functions, f of x, g of x, h of x. And I've got 3 problems for you today. And the first one, you better believe it, it's going to have a pretty big answer. It's g of h of 24, so you can kind of figure that out just by looking at the problem. You'll get a big number here for this answer, so don't be alarmed. And then, as usual, text me your answers on Remind. Okay, don't forget to be working on ALEKS daily. You should be completing 1 topic per day. I hope you have a great day and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Goodbye.